The RWAs just fit in as another piece in the puzzle of institutional adoption. When you think about yield-bearing stablecoins as one of those key assets, and most of it being US treasuries, they're not that far off. They could be used for payments, theoretically, the more adoption there is.
Do you think Stellar has something specifically that sets it out from other chains that are mainly focusing on RWA right now?
They've got a 6x they want to do in the next 3.5 months. That's a lot of opportunity for growth there. I'd say that sets them apart.
Do you think this can somehow create upward pressure on the XLM price, or still no?
At the end of the day, cryptocurrencies are a social consensus mechanism. The value is derived from the collective value humanity places on that. So yeah, it can flip in a minute, but
Hey Matt, so yeah, let's jump right into Stellar. So like Stellar first started as a payments first chain, if I'm not mistaken, it was for sort of a fork of Ripple's code base, but now it has really jumped into tokenization and real world assets. So just how do you think they kind of balance that original vision from a payments first chain to a RWA focus?
yeah, I mean, the RWAs are sort of a means for payments. I mean, USDC has got their own yield-bearing stable they're bringing on chain. I think they're still super focused on payments. It's one of their primary use cases. They've got dozens, maybe hundreds of wallets to make payments. They've got the Stellar disbursement platform for turnkey services to make payments for aid, different use cases for companies. But I'd say that the RWAs just fit in as another piece in the puzzle of institutional adoption. When you think about yield-bearing stablecoins as one of those key assets, and most of it being US treasuries, they're not that far off. They could be used for payments, theoretically. The more adoption there is, the more there's KYC permissioned, like institutional users on chain, that could be a form of payments for them. And if there is ever a US treasury asset RWA that is accepted and doesn't necessarily require KYC, that could also be another form of payment. So I don't really look at it as one or the other. I look at it as a both and type of thing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Do you think Stellar has something specifically that sets it out from other chains that are mainly focusing on RWA right now?
I would say, honestly, the RWA landscape right now is the RWA issuers and providers sort of have the upper hand because all these chains are competing to have RWAs. And so they can go to these chains and get issued on multiple chains rather than the other way around where an RWA is exclusive to one chain. So right now the RWAs are sort of on top in terms of just a pure business development standpoint. But I think that in terms of what's unique for Stellar, they have a big goal to grow their RWA total value locked to more than 3 billion by the end of the year. Right now it's, less than 500 million. So you've got a 6x they want to do at least. And I think it's more than that because they want it to be a specific type of RWAs. So they've got a 6x they want to do in the next 3.5 months. That's a lot of opportunity for growth there. I'd say that sets them apart. But no, I mean, the honest answer is that right now all these chains are competing for a limited pool of RWA providers. So differentiation's limited.
You mentioned before that USDC is not deeply integrated to the Stellar. And do you think that can somehow bring back demand to XLM or not? Because if I'm not mistaken, XLM is still used as gas, so transaction fees require XLM, but those fees are completely minuscule. So do you think that model is enough to boost some XLM value with increased usage or no?
Yeah, so what's interesting about XRP and XLM is the fees can be used to burn on the network, but they're not used to reward validators or derive any activity like that. So neither of those models are really, the model isn't designed, proof of authority isn't designed to drive value from fees or from like incentivizing validators because the validators aren't rewarded from the token. So I would say no.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. And if the RWA volume increases, so say that it goes to the 6 billion that they're planning,
3 billion, yeah.
3 billion, my bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
the six-fold increase. So do you think this can somehow create upward pressure on the XLM price, or still no?
Yeah, I mean it's just the narrative that the market grabs onto, right? I think that XRP is trading with that premium and XLM can trade with that premium as well. It's just a matter of adoption and a matter of the champions the token has. I mean, XLM could flip in a moment if it had some sort of evangelist like Tom Lee saying that how meaningful with Ethereum saying how meaningful the RWA adoption is on XLM or telling some type of story. So, yeah, a lot of it is what the investors choose to believe. At the end of the day, cryptocurrencies are a social consensus mechanism, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
whatever it's the value is derived from the collective value humanity places on that protocol. So yeah, it can flip in a minute, but it depends more on the narrative than I'd say the raw number.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, going back to like Tom Lee and treasuries, like we recently had a Solana digital asset treasury, and if I'm not mistaken, there aren't any right now for XLM. But am I wrong here, or are there any plans or any announcements for the creation of any?
Yeah, not that I've heard, not that have been officially announced, but like I said, it could flip in a switch.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
It could be
So
something they're frankly holding on to or waiting for a Q4 announcement, right?
yeah, yeah, that's
They're one of
true.
the few projects that I haven't heard of it, right? There's a number for XRP, so I wouldn't be surprised to see something drop in Q4, if not later this quarter.
Yeah, that's true. And there have been so many like ETF applications from Grayscale and everyone from many large cap and altcoins, but I haven't seen any for XLM yet. So
Yep.
yeah, you never know. But yeah, okay. So staying back to like those mechanisms, do you think there can be any other types of mechanisms, like I don't know, like liquidity pools or collateral requirements that could somehow strengthen the link between like adoption and XLM demand?
That's a good question. I think really they're building. I think the one thing that can strengthen that link is that they're building out their DeFi protocols as part of this desire to get this TVL. They have TVL goals for DeFi adoption on Stellar as well. So
Okay.
they're trying to grow to be a top 10 chain. So they're the 3 billion mark for the RWAs, and then their goal is also top 10 chain by TVL. I mean, you could pull up DeFi Llama right now. I'm on my phone, but I think they're around less than 100 million TVL last time I checked on DeFi Llama, and top 10 is gonna be at least 5x more than that, if not way more. So again, you're looking at, 5, 10, 20x. And this is an end of the year goal. So the Stellar Development Foundation is putting a lot of money into building out their DeFi landscape. They got the smart contract capability last year with Sorobon. They're building that out. They're investing in it. So they're getting lending protocols, DEXs, DEXs from smart contracts, not just DEXs built in from their Stellar DEX that's built in at the protocol layer. So they want to get, that volume going on the decentralized exchanges. They want to get perps going. They want to get all the things going that people are using crypto for in DeFi today. And so if they can get that flywheel going, they can get that mass adoption going, and they can have that growth pumping, that total value locked in DeFi pumping, I think that can be a real connection point and narrative to build on the RWM payments, almost give them a trifecta, kind of round out or not round out, but complete the triangle, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, just to go back on the data, like I just checked DeFi Llama. So Ethereum is first with 92 billion, and then Avalanche is 10th with 2 billion. And then yeah, you
Yep.
were right on Stellar, it's at 120 million. So
Yeah, so they've
doesn't
got whatever an 18x or something to do in 3 months to meet that goal of top 10 chain. So I mean, look
Don't be
out for
difficult.
incentives. Look out for incentives from the Stellar Development Foundation in the last 3.5 months of the year if you're a DeFi user.
Yeah. And have they announced anything yet? Sort of any program to like sort of entice DeFi builders to join Stellar or
No,
no?
but listen, they got the Stellar Meridian conference coming up next week in Brazil. So, I mean, that's where crypto projects, they love to drop their big announcements at these conferences. So, I wouldn't be surprised if there's announcements regarding their DeFi ecosystem and incentives at the conference next week.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the Meridian conference will be one to watch definitely.
Yeah.
And okay, just a couple of questions for the end. So, I mean, sort of a, I don't know, maybe a direct question, but do you think Stellar's, let's say, goals are realistic or no, personally?
They came out with the goals in the spring. They seemed very aggressive, but possible then. I don't want to speak until after the conference because I don't know what they have up their sleeves. We've seen huge runs in a matter of months, matter of a month, matter of weeks in crypto before. So I don't want to judge the goals until at least the conference announcements next week, because things can flip on a dime in crypto. So yeah, I'm not gonna never say never in crypto. I don't think it's unrealistic. Do I know it's going to happen? Do I know they're going to hit, 2 bill in TVL and 3 bill in RWA, non-yield bearing RWAs? That's what was blanking on my mind. Non-yield bearing RWAs by the end of the year? No, but they absolutely could pull it off. So I want to see what the announcements are next week.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And by the way, have they made an announcement about anything CBDC related or no? As far as you
Not that
know.
I've seen.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, so yeah, final question. Don't want to take too much of your time. So like, yeah, obviously, you guys at Messari have the XLM platform, and according to you, what is like one or two overlooked metrics which can I I'd say which can help measure if XLM is capturing value from the rise of stablecoins and RWAs in its chain.
Yeah, I mean, I think a few overlooked metrics, and we need to build this out more, is the stablecoins payments transfer volume. You can check that out in the Stellar Ecosystem report I wrote. Um, I would look at their payments volume for USDC, um, and compare that against other networks. I think that's a key measure for them in terms of payments is how much is the network being used for stable coins. Most of it's USDC right now, but in general, compared to other networks, I think that would be the key one to touch on. I think it's pretty standard and easy for people in crypto to measure, like DeFi use. It's easy to see the RWAs. So yeah, like that triangle I mentioned, it's easy to check the RWA on chain. It's easy to check uh, DeFi, TVL, and kind of other metrics like DEX volume. But I'd look at the stablecoin payments transfer volume to round that out.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot.